Well, let's send it back over to David and in the race for the White House panel. David.
And panel, we've been sitting here thinking about the electoral map in November. It's something that Hillary Clinton brought up tonight. Again, Pat, saying that she can win the big battleground states like West Virginia in November. What's her map look like that feeds that argument?
Frankly, I wouldn't make an effort at West Virginia, and if I were Obama, I'd write it off. Where she can say I can win is I can beat John McCain in Pennsylvania, I can beat him in Ohio, I can beat him in Michigan, and I can fight him to a draw or beat him in Florida.
Right.
Those are the big states for her, and I think it's a very powerful and valid argument. I think, frankly, she might be able to do that if they could unite the Democratic Party.
But Rachel, Barack Obama's got an argument, too, about where he can win that perhaps she can't. He wants to put Virginia in play, Colorado in play. He's campaigning in Michigan tomorrow. He was in Missouri today, a state that he narrowly won in the primary. He's got swing states in his column that he can go for as well.
That's right, and his swing state map looks different and actually looks bigger than the John Kerry map or potentially the Hillary Clinton map when he's concluding not only Missouri and Colorado and Virginia, but also Iowa. Looking at those states and those places where he thinks that he can compete. I mean, when you look at him winning with 64% of the vote in Virginia, that's a big deal. 67% of the vote in Colorado, even though that was a caucus.
Right.
He's got, I mean, he could make the same argument. He hasn't been choosing to argue it on those terms yet.
But Gene, we know that on the Republican side as well, John McCain talked about global warming yesterday in Oregon, a state that he wants to turn red come November.
Yeah, good luck.
Right, good luck. I don't think he's going to turn the Pacific Northwest to the Republican column. But you know, he's going to fight it out with the Democratic nominee in Florida. Florida could be a battleground state. Clearly, McCain would see a potential opportunity in Pennsylvania. And the Democrats have to hold on to Pennsylvania in most scenarios that you can imagine. But I think, you know, I think the Democrats, basically, I mean, look at that Childers result in Mississippi. The Democrats have to be feeling really good about the fall, about the mood of the public, about the chances of either candidate as a Democratic nominee, probably Obama, perhaps Clinton, but the party has to
get into ethnicity here. In this scenario in the West, that Arizona, those four states, who does best with the Hispanic voters? Now, thus far, Hillary Clinton's been winning 2-1, which tells me she could win Colorado, and she could win New Mexico, and she could win Nevada.
Not necessarily. I think Colorado's.
But here's the thing.
Well, hold it, Pat. You can't say that the primary results in Colorado, in which he beat her so badly, don't count, whereas the primary results in West Virginia, where she beat him, do count.
I'm saying she can because the Hispanic vote, she does she won it 2-1 out in California. If she can win the Hispanic vote and can hold those four states, she beats him.
What does that say about Nevada as well? You've got a growing Hispanic population.
Nevada is the most, is Hispanicizing state in the union right now. It's moving tremendously rapidly in that direction.
But we're losing the forest for the trees here. The state, the district that Childers just won, went to Bush by 25 points in the last election. There are only 27% of registered voters coast to coast who identify as Republicans right now. It hasn't been that low in 16 years. The Latinos are not going to be Republicans.
You talk down there in that district, that's the Oklahoma district, it's northeast Mississippi. You put Obama at the top of the ticket, that's a largely white district. Childers will lose in November what he just won when you get that huge turnout.
What the Republicans
they tried to run against Obama, and they couldn't beat him.
No, because he has separated himself from Obama. You put Obama at the top of the ticket, how does he separate himself?
The Republicans tried to run against Obama. It failed.
One final point, Gene, here as we look at the general election. Barack Obama, we heard it earlier tonight in Missouri. What is the basis of his stump speeches to say that John McCain is an extension of George W. Bush? That Mississippi result underscores, beyond the demographics, beyond the ethnicity and the voting groups, that is the core message of this campaign for the Democrats. It's the brand, the Republican brand, that has been eroded.
Right. The reason Barack Obama has done as well as he has done is that he got the core of the core message right, which is change. People want a change from these 8 years of the Bush administration. That's the basic thing. And what he added today, I think, was a very kind of populist, economics-oriented speech to try to appeal to some of those Hillary Clinton voters, which he could use in the fall.
It didn't sound like a hot button to me.
We're gonna leave it there. Back to you, gentlemen.
David, and thank you. The race for the White House panel still.
I mean, look, I think that even the Clinton camp, Rachel, would concede that they are in numerical trouble, that they have got a numerical deficiency, and they rely enormously on Florida and Michigan, and we hear that again and again. But just looking at tonight, if you are the Obama camp, and you know that just about everyone has been out there saying Hillary Clinton has no real chance, and then yet she loses, then she wins the state of West Virginia by almost 40 points.
What you say is that's what she was polling at. That's the expectation that she had. She met expectations. I think, I mean, really, if you look at these numbers and you wanted to put them in the best possible case for Obama, you wanted to spin them, you'd say, oh, she's almost got what he got in Georgia. She's almost got what he got in Illinois. I mean, when you look at the margins of victory in the primary campaign so far, even if you exclude the caucuses, there have been a lot of them with more than 20-point margins, more than even 30-point margins. It's not that weird. The problem with it is the timing, and that's why I think Obama needs to pivot and start maybe pushing against her.
Because you listen to his speech today, Rachel, he's focusing on the economy. I mean, it was all about the economy. It was all about how I understand the pain that you may be. He is shifting the message. Right.
The main thing that he has to do, though, in those speeches is make sure there's no kid chewing gum right behind him. That was not good.
No, but I mean, is that going to do it?
Well, listen, I mean, it's going to be Republican Party versus Democratic Party. John McCain is asking for something like $70,000 donations at this point because he expects the Republican Party to be able to take his campaign donors and turn that into his campaign. It's not just candidate versus candidate, it's party versus party. And right now, the Republican Party is looking, has to be looking with a lot of worry at their status against the Democrats
Pat, hold on one
in
second.
a generic sense.